consider them to either partner with us, as a subcontractor, or when we had W-2 employees, we would give them a chance to start training with us and see if they were a good fit. And now I'm going to take another question from our Facebook group. And I hope that did answer your question, Vanessa. Um, Also, I do have a checklist of questions specifically for subcontractors that we use. I would be more than happy to share that with anybody from the ZenMade Mastermind or ZenMade family, of course. I will absolutely share that free checklist with you guys that we go through for our subcontractors. And then you can also take those questions, throw them into Chat GPT and ask how you can apply this to your W-2 employees, of course. Um, and then also, thank you. We're also having people, we're going to be answering questions from the actual live itself also on YouTube. So the next question is going to be, it's from our ZenMade Mastermind group, and this is from Jelena Garcia. Shout out to Jelena. She is, one of my biggest supporters on YouTube. She came out to the event this week in Vegas, and she is just a very determined young woman that is new to the cleaning industry. So shout out to you, Jelena. Her question is, how do we plan our days better? Is there an app you would recommend on handling daily, day to day, on a day to day basis? I'm currently using notes and a whiteboard. So I'll be honest with you. I've been able to plan my days out better with using a calendar app, right? I'm saying like you can use your Google calendar that you have for your business, if it has to do with your personal stuff. If you don't want to bring over your personal tasks onto, let's say, the ZenMade calendar, right? Because of course ZenMade has an amazing calendar which you can use, and you can also add tasks in there for yourself, and uh, you can also add recurring stuff in there. So you can utilize the ZenMade calendar. You're already paying for it. But if you wanted to just keep it strictly personal stuff, like if it's not like, hey, I have to clean the rags or, go over the invoicing. If it's not something like that and it's more personal and you don't want to bring that over onto your ZenMade calendar, then I would say use something like your Google Calendar, Microsoft Teams, something that's a free or that you're already paying for. You don't want to add on any extra costs for you guys. So for me, I like to use, like I said, my Google Calendar. I have a Google Calendar and a Microsoft Teams calendar. Um, but overall, I go to my Google Calendar as default to see what it is that I have to do. Because as a business owner, we're not just business owners, right? We're moms, we're dads, we're aunts, we're uncles, we're friends, we're caretakers, we're, dog moms. I got my Mr. Benson right there. We have a lot to do, let alone run the cleaning business. So it does get out of hand, and you want to make sure that you have time to do everything, whether that is business development or in your personal life. So I definitely do use my Google Calendar and my Microsoft Teams calendar. My kids have access to it. My assistant for my cleaning business has access to it. My assistant for my coaching business has access to it. And it's also linked with my family calendar. So for me, I need to understand, what everybody's got going on. I've got two girls, I have a dog, I have, and then I have my business. So I like everybody to know when I'm busy or when I'm available. That way I can have enough time to do fun stuff like this, right? Be able to hop on these ZenMade Mastermind lives and YouTube. So definitely consider using your calendar and really just interconnecting everybody that needs to be involved, because that's most important. You need to make sure everyone is on the same page as you. That way they are not, what's the word? They're not just assuming you to be available or thinking that you're able to talk. So that's really important for us. And then you have another question: if we have a website, how do we link to ZenMade booking forms? Is there a video to learn to implement this? So I believe that there are some videos on YouTube in which you can learn this. Um, so I would definitely, give that a search. But from off the top of my head, because I've done it so many times, I can tell you that on the left hand sidebar of your toolbar when you're logged into desktop, there is a little file cabinet icon, and under there is where you can see your booking forms, and you can create them. And there's a couple different ways in which you can link them to your website, but ZenMade within the platform allows you to copy and paste either a link in which you can add to your Facebook or an HTML code in which you can embed onto your website. Um, I personally, along with my team, do help with implementing instant quoting and booking forms. So if you guys need any assistance, or you'd like for us to take that task away from you, I'd be more than happy to help you. You guys can reach out to me, on my website, and we'd be more than happy to create your booking forms and embed them for you. But overall, it's really not that difficult. You just have to kind of get used to or get the hang of working with those forms. Very good questions, though. Thank you, Jelena. You always have some awesome questions. Now, I want to answer some questions from the YouTube. So let me just see if I can pull those up. How can I? Actually, I'm going to go to my Instagram before I forget, because we do have some questions that I was being asked on my personal or my business Instagram page. So if you guys don't follow me, be sure to add me at Carolyn CEO on Instagram. All right, so here we go. We have a question. Um, And okay, this question is from Jennifer Lentz Young, and it says, just started my cleaning business and I would like to focus on move out and move in cleans for apartments and townhomes. My question is, when you get a contract, do you give a discount as you would be hopefully cleaning several units a month, or just the normal fee for apartment move out? So that's actually an awesome question. Um, But my answer to that is, overall, you would give them, yes, some type of a discount, right? Because they are giving you, hopefully, a bulk of the work, um, a bulk of their work, right? So yes, you would want to give them a slight discount on the services that you would be giving them. So we do a lot of move in, move out cleanings. And I will say this, the apartments that we work with are luxury apartment buildings. And they do have a very long checklist. Their scope of work is detailed. We have to clean, inside of the washers, inside of the dryers, inside of the dishwasher. We move, the oven and the refrigerator. So it's very, very detailed. Um, and you do want to make sure that you are getting paid for the time that you're working, right? Like, of course, you want to give them a discount of some sort, but you don't want to discount each and every single like entire job, if that makes any sense. But yes, in order to, you want to be competitive a little bit, but of course you want to make sure that you're delivering on what they're asking for, if that makes sense. So just make sure that you are getting paid in a manner in which you can profit. And I only say that because a lot of these move in, move out cleanings can be extremely detailed, and they can also take quite some time. Because some of these people, they don't keep up with their home. They might have been living there for God knows how long, maybe 3 or 4 years, maybe never cleaned a kitchen before. So some of those move in, move out cleans can be intense. And then on the flip side of that, you have people like myself that keep up with their home in between their recurring professional cleanings, and they're a breeze. So you want to take that into consideration. But yes, I would say you do want to give them an incentive to, to go with your company. Because with us, and this will, vary depending on the location and the customer, but we get about, I would say, anywhere from like 6 to 15 move in, move out cleanings a month, per building. On slow months, and every business has their slow months, we'd only get maybe like 3 or 4 move in, move out cleans. But they are definitely awesome to have. Those are the types of contracts that we love to have, those recurring contracts. I'm just gonna flip back over to Facebook real quick, see if we have any other questions. But that was an awesome question. Also, don't feel timid. You can ask them what their last cleaners were getting paid, or what the last contract looked like. Um, just so you can have some idea as to what they were paying, right? Not that you want to match it, not that you want to go as low as that business, but sometimes people are willing to share that information with you. Um, okay, so the next question that we have, this one is actually anonymous. How do you use ZenMaid booking forms to automate lead generation? Okay, so this is a good one. Thank you, Anonymous. How do you use ZenMaid booking forms to automate lead generation? Well, the booking forms help automate lead gen in a number of ways. So, when we have the booking forms on our website, and we did that strategically because we wanted to be able to automate the process, right? We wanted to be able to spend less time on the phones and speaking with people, um, versus them asking us for a quotation. So number one way that ZenMate can help automate that process is the fact that it is collecting very important data for you. Okay, so when they go on to that booking form, whether or not you decide to show prices, you're still capturing a lot of information that is necessary to even start the process, the sales process with the client. So it's collecting that first name, that last name, email address, home's physical address. It's gathering information on how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, what type of extras are these clients looking for? What type of clean are they looking for, right? Because we have standard, we have deep, post construction, commercial, window cleaning, all of these different services. So that alone, that form where it's gathering all that information, is actually help automating the process, right? Because that means you're not physically on a call with this customer, or you're not physically going out to do a walkthrough for this customer, because the automated booking form, or is gathering that information for you. Another way that ZenMaid helps automate, some of the processes within our cleaning business through that instant booking form, is also gathering credit card information. So in my business, we only work with clients that have, our form of payment is debit and credit cards. So we personally don't take any cash. We don't take any checks unless it's my commercial accounts. I am talking right now about residential. Um, but having that credit card information captured during that original process is helping automate it, right? I'm not having to have myself or my staff call a client, ask them for their credit card information, which sometimes people act a little weary about to begin with, right? Giving that info over the phone. Um, but it helps time with that whole process. The client is able to go onto the booking form, input their information, input that credit card information. That information is captured and put onto your credit card platform, so that you don't have to actually call the client or see the client to be able to do this stuff. So that's just, a couple of different ways that ZenMaid's booking forms help automate the process, or help automate some of, the sales process within your cleaning business. Think about how much time it actually takes to have that conversation with the client. Anywhere from, like, what do you guys think? Maybe like 5 to 10 minutes if you're lucky. And if you get a client that wants to, tell you about their day, and, you know, chit chat, then those 10 minutes could easily be 15 minutes. So having that booking form on the site, helps get some of your time back, if that makes sense. Um, and that's pretty much, how that helps. Also, to kind of stem off of that, once that information is saved into ZenMaid and they create a booking or they create a request, right? Their information is now getting saved onto ZenMaid's actual platform itself, right? So they become a contact, which is nice because it's helping automate that process, right? You don't have to go in to your account, create a new contact, fill all that information out. So their profile will be created on your ZenMaid form. And then also something else is that ZenMaid has some amazing other automation. So SMS automations and email. So later on down the line, when that job does become a job, now you have the option to turn on your automations with ZenMaid. So now your clients are getting a reminder that you have a cleaning coming up. Your technicians have a reminder that they have a cleaning coming up. And then along with a lot of other amazing features that ZenMaid has to offer, like their invoicing and stuff like that. But I think that's an awesome question because, we can just get into that like on a whole conversation as to how it can save you time and help automate your business. But there are many, many different ways that ZenMaid has been able to help really automate the entire sales process for me and my team. So thank you for that, Anonymous. I think that was an awesome question. And then we do have a few more questions here to answer. All right, awesome. So, and I hope I'm answering these questions for you guys to the best, that I can. So the next question that we have is from Paige Marie. What tasks do you designate your different office staff to do? So again, Paige Marie, thank you for your question. The question is, what tasks do you designate your different office staff to do? Okay, so when we did have a ton of office staff, um, what we would do is, we all had different roles. So we had our, I want to say, head of sales, customer service rep, who, was in office with us. And this person answers the phones. And right now I have a virtual assistant for this, you guys, right? But I'm just going to tell you, what kind of stuff they would do. So pretty much, the person answering the phones would obviously answer the phones, speak with the clients, try to understand what it is, what type of cleaning that they're looking for more information on. So if it's a house cleaning, they're taking that client's information, putting it into ZenMaid, giving them a quote based on their needs. If it is a commercial client that is looking for a walkthrough, then of course they would go ahead and schedule the walkthrough with that client, find a good time for both me and the client so that we could go out there and quote them for their commercial cleaning job. So that would pretty much be that one person's main focus. It would be pretty much, manning the phones, sending out quotes, scheduling walkthroughs, handling any customer service complaints that might be coming in, which hopefully there aren't, right? But there are. Also taking deposits from our clients because we do require a 25% non-refundable deposit on our house cleanings. Um, Keeping, this is all one person, by the way, keeping tabs on how the cleanings are going, right, with the staff. So checking in with our technicians, making sure, that the clean is going on schedule, or do they need more time or not? And then ultimately charging the client for the balance of the cleaning. So that would be, one person's role or job, which is pretty much, handling the calls, the charges, and the scheduling of our staff, as well as any customer complaints that come in. We also and that's what my VA does now for me. But that's also what, we did have somebody full time that was working in the office with us prior to switching our business model. Something else that we did is we had a head of operations, of course, which at that time was my business partner, who is no longer. Um, but what she would do would be pretty much, she would be boots on the ground, and she would make sure that all of our units, all of our storage units had all the necessary cleaning supplies for our teams to come pick up from. She would make sure that all of our equipment was clean and sanitized and accounted for, and taken care of course, because those are very expensive pieces of equipment, these book bags and all of this stuff. She would also um, work with our lead trainer. So she would pretty much make sure that our trainer was, training the staff that we had, and that everything was going well. Um, and of course, we also did have lead technicians, but that, I guess, that would be more considered like out on the field. So yeah, that's pretty much what we would each do. We had the head of ops, we had our, customer service person running the phones and the problems, and I would always be doing the marketing. So marketing, customer service, and then of course, um, head of operations. So that's kind of how we had it broken down, um, within our office unit. And then of course, outside we had, our lead technicians, our inspectors, our technicians, those that are training with us. But that's kind of how we would break it down. Because if I needed to focus on marketing and business development, then it's very hard to do that if I'm worrying about what's going on with the cleaning supplies and what's going on with, the rags being washed. And then, that person also can't be thinking about sales and marketing and, of course, the customer service end of it. So, and this does come with time, you guys. It's not like, don't feel discouraged, because when we first started the business, I was all of those things. My sister, myself, we were all of them. We were marketing, biz dev, customer service, lead technician. Like, I was scrubbing toilets, answering the phone, dealing with with sales and all that stuff. It does come with time, so there's no rush to feel like you need to hire all these people to do the things. But as you guys continue to grow in your business and you do have more funds available, then of course outsourcing the work that you shouldn't be doing, is a great idea. And what I mean by that is, like, for me anyway, my main focus is sales and biz dev, right? Like, how do we get more clients? um, and that's right now, right? Eventually I'm going to hire somebody else to do that. So roles change, throughout the lifespan of your business, and they can always continue to change. Nothing is cut and dry. Nobody, it doesn't, what works for me might not work for you guys, and vice versa. But I'm just giving you guys, based on my own experience. Okay, so we have a great question here. I think this is from the live. Do you pay your subcontractors on a percentage pay or hourly? I absolutely love this question. And the reason why I love this question is because the answer is actually both. Um, and what I mean by that is, let's say, for example, we do both. And let's just say, for example, and I'm going to be very blunt right now, right? There's no reason not to be, but and we're going to talk in terms of residential cleaning. Okay. So let's just say, for example, I know that a house cleaning is going to take, let's say, 3 hours, right? And I'm going to use made up numbers here. It's just for the purposes of math. But let's just say that I know a house cleaning is going to take 3 hours, okay? And I charge the client $50 an hour, the business, right? That's $150 total cost of the clean. But I know that I give my employee, let's just say 50%, right? 50% of that is $25. When I offer it, and this is how I do it, this doesn't mean everybody does this. I do it my way because I want my subcontractors to keep working with me. I never want my subcontractors to stop working with me. So what I do is I'll tell my subcontractor, hey, I have a house clean. Here's the address. Here's the details. It is going to be a 3 hour clean and it pays $75. So it pays $75, right? So I'm telling them it pays $75. That's 50% of the clean. But when they go do the math, they're gonna say 75 divided by three. They're gonna know they're getting paid 25 an hour. That's just how they do it, right? They take, just like we do, they take the total time that it's expected, they divide it out, and then they get to see what their hourly rate is. So for me personally, and I'm in the state of, we do business in New Jersey. I live in New York, but we pay our subcontractors. Um, we try to pay our subcontractors anywhere between 30 to 35 an hour because of the cost of living here, right? So they know that if it's a 6 hour job, because I have an estimate for them, the minimum is 180. That's like $30. So to go back to your question, the answer is both. We do pay them a percentage, right? Anywhere between 50 to 60%. Okay, if that makes sense. Anywhere between 50 to 60%, we do pay them. But because my hourly rate doesn't change, giving them that 50 or 60% always comes to about the same hourly rate. Okay. And then something else that I want to add to this because I think it's important is that how we operate is unless you're a recurring house client, right? Or a recurring commercial client, we do charge by the hour. So one time cleans, right? Move in, move out, post construction, we charge by the hour. Um, so let's say, for example, you're a subcontractor of mine. And again, we're going to go with the 25 an hour cleaning homes. And I say, hey, 3 hour clean, $75. Here's the address. Now, if that 3 hour clean turns into a 5 hour clean, right? I want to make sure that we both get paid for that extra time. And again, this is for one time customers only, not recurring. So, what I ask my subcontractors to do is to check in with us, meaning if at any point you realize that that 3 hour clean is now going to be a 4 or 5 hour clean, please let us know right away. Sometimes when we show up to the jobs, you'll know right away. Carol or Jose, whoever they're reaching out to, this is no way a 3 hour clean. This is going to take at least five. We get in contact with the client. We say, hey, listen, our technician got there, because of the dirt level of the home or unforeseen circumstances, this is going to take longer. Now, if the client approves the extra time, then we go ahead and do the extra time. But that means also the subcontractor gets paid more, right? And I get paid more. Now, if for some reason the subcontractor doesn't relay the message that more time is needed and they continue on to clean and they're not answering our texts or they're not answering our calls and they're not letting us know, then we can't relay that information to the client and we can't, get the client to approve more time. So therefore, they will only get paid the 75 hours that we originally, the $75 that we originally offered, right? Because the deal is we give an estimate. We want to make sure everybody gets paid fairly. If you need more time, please let us know right away. The longest you have to tell us is an hour before the clean is up. That way we can relay this to the client, right? We want to be fair to everybody. But something that I've learned over the years, with trial and error, is that yes, of course, we need to keep the clients happy, but we also need to keep our workers happy. So if I was a subcontractor and I went in to do a job and you told me it was going to take 3 hours, it was paying 75, but it took me 6 hours and you're still paying me 75, I'm not going to want to come back to work for you, right? Because A, you don't know how to estimate properly, or maybe you did estimate properly, or B, you're not even attempting to help create more of an opportunity for me to make money. So to answer your question, it's a little bit of both. It's always a percentage, but because we try to stick with that percentage and my hourly rate doesn't change for house cleaning, my hourly rate, they always end up getting between 30 to $35, if that makes sense. Something else I want to mention is that when you work with subcontractors, and many of us may know this, and I'm only saying this for those of us that don't, because I do get this question asked, is that you don't tell the subcontractor, hey, I'm giving you 50% of the job. it pays 100, you get $50. You don't have to tell them that. Like, you don't have to tell them what you're getting paid. You don't have to tell them what the percentage is, but you're telling them how much a job pays and about how long it should take, and then they just do the math to know what the hourly rate is. Okay, so you want to always make sure to be paying them fairly, um, with the work that they're doing. Um, and also, of course, be honest. Just because it's that information is not for us to share with them, you want to be an honest person. You don't want to be giving somebody 40% or 30% of a job, because, at the end of the day, our technicians are really what makes this business run. It's our clients and our techs at the end of the day. So for me, I always want to pay people the absolute most that I can with still being profitable, so that they want to continue to work for me. And I've had nothing but amazing experience this last year working with the teams that I work with doing this. And also, if you feel like, because I did have to raise my prices recently slightly, because I wanted to pay them more, right? I wanted to pay them more and be able to make a profit. So we do have to keep, our staff in mind as to how we pay them. And also, I want to mention, it's different for everyone. You could have W-2 employees, you could work with subcontractors, you could be working with both. Maybe you start off doing employees, later on you do the sub method, or vice versa. Everybody's business is different, everybody's situation is different, everybody's goals in life are different. Um, so I just wanted to say that. So we have about 10 more minutes on this live, and I do want to answer another question. So let's just see what we got going here. Okay. So we have a question from Danny Langer. What is the best mopping system? That is a really good question. So I'm gonna try to answer this question because it could mean so many different things. But what is the best mopping system? So for us, what we do is, we still use, um, and I guess I'm going to talk in terms of both. So in homes, one of our favorite mops, and I'm a big fan of, is the O-Cedar spin mop. Um, Versus having to use those hand mops that you kind of have to like squeeze out. So we do use that, and we clean our floors, we clean homes from, the furthest point of the home, working our way out of the house. So we do clean the floors as we go. So each room that we clean, we vacuum mop, and we mop our way out the home. With commercial cleaning, we do use the janitorial mops, of course, because there's so much more floor to cover. So we do use those. And again, we also, do work our way out of the facility, so that we're not stepping over any um, any wet floor. We don't use any, fancy mopping systems, anything that might have like AI in it, or anything that is remote controlled. Not to say that that's not something we won't do in the future, but right now, using, like I said, the O-Cedar spin mops for residential, and the janitorial style mops for commercial, has been um, the best for us. I actually did see another question, um, and it kind of has to do with this, so I'll just talk about it. Somebody had asked me, or maybe I had seen this in the Zen Maid Master Group, Zen Maid Mastermind. It wasn't toward me, but I was reading it yesterday. Somebody asked if they should use like a steam cleaner in their clients' homes. And my answer would be, I think it's great if you want to do it as an add-on, right? Um, when my team comes to clean my home, my apartment here, I do have a steam cleaner that I have here, and I do ask them to do it, but I do pay them extra for it, right? Because it's more time. So if you're gonna start incorporating like steam cleaners, or like extra steps other than the regular mopping that you're doing, just make sure that you guys are being paid for your time, and sell that, as an add-on for sure. Now we have a question from Jasmine. Which cordless stick vacuum do you recommend for residential cleaning? And what about commercial cleaning? So I love this question because, and I will put a link for you guys. I actually use the same exact vacuums that I do in homes as I do in commercial cleaning. Um, I know some people like to use like the stand up vacuum and stuff like that, but because the very first vacuum that I bought was a Pro Team HEPA backpack, um, I fell in love with them, and I've been buying them ever since. I have tried some other brands that I've ended up having to return um because the suction was just not there. I'm actually going to share a link with you guys to my Amazon storefront. I have a couple of different shopping lists. So I have like commercial cleaning, residential cleaning, inexpensive commercial, inexpensive residential. So definitely check out those different cleaning lists that I shared with you guys. But I'm a huge fan of Pro Team. Now, I will tell you this, they are not cheap. Okay. They are not inexpensive whatsoever, but they are worth the investment. At least I think so. And again, I've only, I've been a huge client of Pro Teams. And I have tried other backpacks, but I've always ended up returning them because they just didn't do all of the things, right? So with the Pro Team HEPA backpacks, I will say this, just be careful in the size that you buy. So there's three different sizes. They have the 3 quart, the 6 quart, and the 10 quart. Now, when I started 6 years ago, I didn't know that there were different sizes to choose from. I went and got the 10 quart. The 10 quarts are heavy and they're very long. Like I'm 5'2", so for me it was like from my back, like past my tailbone, and they're heavy. Um, we still do use them, of course. I try to give those to our like male employees because they're taller, they're bigger, they're kind of heavy for us ladies. So don't get the 10 quart if you don't want to carry that extra weight. The 6 quart is great. Okay, the 6 quart is fantastic. It's good in it's good in size. And then they have the 3 quart. So they also have the 3 quart that's available. It's a little bit smaller. I actually have one for my home in this closet right here. And I got the 3 quart for my house because it's never going to leave this house ever again. Um, So I have another question. It says, why do you need equipment now that you have subcontractors? So I don't. I don't need equipment, but I did the W-2 method for 5 years. So I have a ton of equipment. Like I have a ton of cleaning equipment that I currently have. And it's just kind of, sitting there in my office. But um, I don't need to buy any right now. I have it because I paid for it. And, I don't know what the future is going to bring. I might end up, hiring W-2 employees again in the future. Like I said, it's always like what's going on in your life or what are your goals in business? And for me right now, I enjoy doing what I do with the coaching and the mentoring. So for me, working with subcontractors is just easier. But if you have subs, you don't need the equipment. But again, for 5 years, I didn't have subs. I only had employees, so I did have a ton of equipment. Um, but yes, HEPA backpacks, Pro Team, check them out. You can use them in commercial and residential. They come with a bunch of different extensions. So, you can vacuum the couches with it. They're great for post construction. Um, they cover so many square feet versus like an upright vacuum. It's all about production rate and saving time, but also still delivering that quality. And then we have, I think this is going to be our last question from Jasmine. And Jasmine says, I know a lady that mops her house with Swiffer wet jet pads and she changes them until they turn out white. As a business, do we have to or are we expected to do that when mopping? I'm going to answer this on my behalf, but I would say no. Um, we don't do we don't use the Swiffer wet jet pads, right? Because they're super expensive. You know this, Jasmine. They're expensive. Um, but I would say no, right? Because when we vacuum, we vacuum. We do a very thorough job vacuuming, and then of course we mop. Now, if they need a second mop, yes, of course we will give it a second mop, right? We're not going to leave anybody's floors dirty or dingy, you know, visibly dirty. Um, but So of course change the water out. I'm always on top, I used to be on top of my team, like, you got to change the water out, you got to change the water out consistently. But do you need to keep, go until the Swiffer wet pad, the pad is white? I mean, I would say no, unless that's something that you've agreed to. But in that case, I just want to say, like, as long as you are being compensated for your time, fine. But if this person, for example, hired you to clean her house for whatever, $120, and now she's adding this new step on where you have to use multiple Swiffer wet jet pads, well, now, you have to figure out how much extra time is that taking you, and should that be an add-on? Because we also did have a client, like I mentioned, with the steamer. I do that to my girls; they get paid extra. Um, but I did have a client. I remember when I was cleaning homes, he's like, "I want you to steam it. I want you to Swiffer." He was like a fanatic about his floors. He wanted me to do the Swiffer wet pad and then steam it on the way out with a little bit of disinfectant in the hot water after we had mopped it. Um, and I'm okay with doing that, right? I told him the first time I did it, because I didn't know any better. I was like, "Yeah, I'll do it." And then I was like, "Oh my god!" I like, me and my sister spent an additional 30 minutes in that home doing these two extra steps, right? So I came to him and I said, I don't mind doing this at all. Like, I don't mind. I can do the Swiffer pads after we mop. I can do the hot steam, but it's going to be an additional, $35 or whatever it was to compensate us for our time. And he was totally okay with that. So as long as, like I said, you're being compensated, or you're getting paid for what you're doing, and it's something that you want to do, then sure, you can definitely accommodate a client, but don't feel like you have to do something just because somebody asks you. Too many times, you know, in our cleaning businesses, we just give in because we want to be people pleasers, especially in the beginning, I find it. But at some point, you have to learn when people are, maybe asking for a little bit too much, because eventually, when we get out of cleaning ourselves, if you started off cleaning yourself, you will have to bring people in. So you want to make sure that you're setting realistic expectations for your clients. That way, when you have your technicians going in, they're not getting asked to do anything extra outside of the agreed upon scope of work. Oh wow, I feel like I talked a whole lot. I'm so sorry if I if I spoke too much, or didn't get to answer the questions too much. But I do want to say thank you to everybody that has participated. I appreciate everyone that left the questions on that Facebook post. I appreciate you guys that posted on my personal or business Instagram channel. Thank you for everybody that is joining us live on the ZenMade Mastermind. Thank you to the subscribers on the YouTube channel that are watching on ZenMade's YouTube. ZenMade and I will be collaborating at least once to twice a month, doing Q&As, webinars. So we will definitely be, communicating this with you guys and sharing the schedule and what's to come. Again, thank you to ZenMade, Amar, and the team for being such, amazing leaders in the cleaning industry, for having this awesome Facebook page, for building this amazing platform that has been able to allow me to grow my cleaning business, along with, over 2,000 clients right now, across the world. So, again, thank you everybody for tuning in. My name is Carolyn Arellano. If you guys want to connect with me in any way, you can follow me on YouTube at Carolyn Arellano, Instagram at Carolyn CEO. And if you need any type of assistance within your cleaning business, please be sure to check out my full website, www.cleaningbusinessmentor.com. That's www.cleaningbusinessmentor.com. And I will see you guys next time. Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I feel like I start get boring, like talking to myself, but thank you. Picking back up. Yeah. Awesome. No, that's great. That is great.